Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode 7 of East Meets West. It's kind of cool how that's almost the E and the W almost. Wait, hold on. Let me flex that.
Look at that. See?
it's like East. Wait, yeah, I doing it. Oh yeah.
It's our
People get
episode of
throw up y'all
performing
W's.
arts. Performing arts.
Right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. Yeah, the little quick plug. Congratulations, Boston. I'm from Detroit. Yeah, you're you're welcome. Jalen
I
Brown,
mean,
good job.
I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. You're all my enemies, so screw you. No,
Man,
I'm
it,
kidding.
it seems like it's a lot of Bay Area fans that wanted the Celtics to win this year, which was like
Um,
fuck.
I guess, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess some people, those Western Conference rivalries, because
Yeah,
I suppose the
the
Warriors,
Lakers.
we see Luca more often and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
mean,
I didn't think about it like that. Okay.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah. You want my honest reaction? I mean, yeah, of course, right? Once the Warriors didn't make the actual playoffs, I want every team to lose,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we got to have a winner, and big congrats to the Celtics because I mean, they absolutely they they deserved it, and they
Yeah.
absolutely earned it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they were the best team from start to finish. I'm not going to play this hypothetical game or put any asterisks on anything. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Nah, because you still had to
they
play
made yeah, they made all the badass right like moves
moves.
to make
Definitely.
a complete team, and then they brought it all together. So I mean, nothing but
Sacrificed the
respect.
game. Sacrificed
Yeah,
the
dude.
game. They traded Marcus Smart. He got
Big
hurt.
props.
Brought in
Big
Drew.
props.
Got Porzingis. Al Horford. I wrote an article about him, and I was pushing it when he first went back to the Celtics, and when he was in Philly, and I forgot what team he was playing for when I wrote it. OKC, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and
His
I was
like
just
one
saying
year, his
he's
like
the
banishment to OKC for 1 year, his
yeah.
sabbatical.
Yeah, and I was saying he's the one glue guy that can help you win a championship. And if anything, congratulations, Al Horford. I'll
Congrats.
hand clap that
Congrats.
part of the Celtics for sure. Him and Jalen Brown,
Right. Now
Tatum
one of
too.
the
Drew. I mean, I love their players. I don't like the franchise, and it's because I think back to
dude.
stuff my father introduced me to during when I was little that I didn't forget because I got to see it as I got older. Us throwing the ball in, it's a steal. Celtics win the game and stuff like that. KG and them coming along when they got over there, and then they start beating us too. Like, then I'm a Kobe fan, and y'all beat
Okay, there
Kobe.
you go.
You know what I mean? And Kobe beat y'all. You know what I mean? So, and it helped add to his legacy because for him to be a part of the Lakers Celtic legacy, kind of put him up higher too. And I don't think
Yeah.
people factor that in when it comes to his legacy, but that's part of it. You know what I mean? Because that's
I
in
mean,
Laker lore. Like that's Laker lore, the Celtic aspect.
it is. Yeah. I mean, it's a storied rivalry. The Celtics are, a story, a legacy
Yeah,
franchise.
yeah.
It's pretty cool too. I mean, Berkeley is like basically just a couple minutes away from where I live here in the Bay Area. So I
Okay.
mean, I saw Jalen Brown when he was at Cal. I mean, not to pat myself on the back. I mean, he went third overall, but I mean, what I'm saying is, I thought like, man, this guy has a lot of potential. But whatever you thought his ceiling was, I think he's exceeded it.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah,
exceeded even the highest of expectations. So yeah, like I said, yeah, you kind of wish maybe they weren't wearing the Celtic green, but
yeah.
hey, right? Big props to them. Big props.
Yeah,
You know,
enough. Take it from there because I don't
exactly.
want to keep talking about that green team.
Well,
Congratulations, though, y'all.
after everybody like had like their celebratory reactions last night, one common thing I kept seeing a lot of fans saying is like, "Wow, well the NBA season's over. It's bittersweet, right? What are we
Hmm.
gonna do? What are you gonna do until what next October? I mean, I guess you got training camp, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
It is funny. It's like, hey, right? You
so
like
much
what you like.
basketball.
There you go, right? You like what you
Hmm.
like. And if you only, like we've said this before on prior episodes, if you just are only familiar with the NBA, that's totally cool. But, if you're tuning in with us, maybe we can kind of introduce you to some other leagues that aren't the NBA. Obviously, the WNBA is right in the heart of the
Hmm.
season,
Hmm.
right? And then if
Go
you, you know,
Lynx.
then yes, right.
Hmm.
Big win, big win. And then there's the Olympics this summer.
Yep.
I mean that's great. So you're going to still see a lot of like the stars of the NBA competing for their respective countries,
Yep.
right? And then
Three on
again,
three.
if you like, maybe some of y'all have like your favorite college teams, or past college players that maybe aren't in the NBA. The basketball tournament, is this
Yeah.
summer. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, but then there's also another league that just started its season this past weekend,
Hmm.
and that's the Big Three.
Yes.
Ice
Yes.
Cube's Big Three.
Shout out.
All right. And well, it's actually kind of funny that you mentioned Al Horford, right? Because I believe he turned 38,
Yeah.
right? They even had to tweet that he will return next year for
Yeah.
another season. Like
Yeah.
basically, they had to make it clear he's not retiring. Which,
Yeah.
all of that is to say, is that he understands that he's nearing the end of his NBA career,
Yeah.
and I just kind of, when you brought up Al Horford, I thought like, hey, who knows, right?
Yeah.
He may end up making an appearance in the Big Three,
I
right, in the
mean,
next couple seasons,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, the Big Three, for those of who maybe are not too familiar with it, it's a basketball league, a 3-on-3 basketball league founded by Ice Cube. Yes,
Hmm.
that Ice Cube, right?
Shout out to Cube.
NWA, right?
Hmm.
Today was a good day.
Straight
Ice
out of
Cube,
Compton.
straight out of Compton. Friday, right?
Hmm.
Boys in the Hood, etc., etc. And obviously, as the
Was
years gone by, completely
yeah.
versatile, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's not like the FIBA game. It actually combines a little elements of both NBA and FIBA rules, right?
Okay.
But Michael, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Um, when the Big Three, like upon its inception, you read
Mm.
about it, maybe you saw like the first couple games in its inaugural season.
Yeah.
What were your impressions of the Big Three? Be honest.
I
Or
loved
what were
it.
your thoughts?
I love the idea because it was bringing players that we wanted to see get more chances. You know what I mean? Like that we felt like should be on a roster. Like right now, Carmelo Anthony should have probably before he retired officially been on a roster. You know what I mean? Like because he can stretch the floor. You know what I mean? At the very
Right.
least, he can stretch the floor. But I know the NBA is more they want every player to be multi-dimensional. They're not specialist based at all. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be able to do everything, or they're going to, if the team doesn't see you as insignificant, then the fans and the media that cover the league will see you as insignificant. They'll say, oh well, Melo don't have a bag no more, or Melo can't do this no more, or you know what I mean? But Melo will wash your ass. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he just will. He will wash you. So
Yeah.
it's they want everybody to have Kyrie handles, Steph Curry range, and Embiid like post game. Or hell, who's better than Embiid in the post? Like, I mean, I guess it would be Embiid. Maybe Jokic style passing in the lane, Giannis type ability to dunk on you and trans. They want the whole package and everything. That's what made Wemby a big deal because it's like, okay, here comes this prototype Giannis like but taller alien. What can he do? You know, will it
Right.
translate to the NBA? And because we see him shooting, we see him blocking, we see him getting better in different aspects. People are like Bleacher Report is highlighting him working out with Jamal Crawford. You know what I mean? And it's just stuff like that that makes people get drawn to those players because he still has room to grow. He will grow, and they want to see just everything player. And I think that's what made people gravitate to LeBron so much. But to scale it back and get back on topic, um, yeah, we just want to see players that we feel like deserve a shot or feel like they should be rostered. And then for some of us, like Joe Johnson was on the Pistons, like flirting with the potential for playing for us. And the Pistons fans wanted him bad, and a lot of fans around the league wanted him. Like a lot of people thought Jamal Crawford could have played another year or so. It would have been nice if he played in the big three. I mentioned Carmelo. We seen Iverson for like what, like 2 or 3 games, something like that. One
I don't
in the
think he
big
ever
three.
played.
I
I
think he
think he was
did. I think
technically
he
a
played
coach.
one
He
game.
was he was like a
I
player
think.
coach, but he didn't really play. Well, maybe he ran around a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But that's what we want to see. You know what I
well,
mean?
okay.
Like if Michael Jordan was like, "Yeah, I'm a suitor for the big three one game," everybody and their mama watching. You know what I mean? Like Jordan. They be like, "Yeah, he's like 230, 235. He got down he got his weight down. He's still a little over his playing weight, but he's 60. He's gonna play in the big three. We're gonna watch him shoot fadeaways." You know what I mean?
See,
Everybody will be watching.
and I like your answer. I like your answer because one, it's authentic. Right? I feel like there's an authentic enthusiasm, and why?
Yeah.
Because it's authentic, like enjoyment rooted in nostalgia.
Yeah.
Those players, right? Like you just said, Joe Johnson's like, kind of courtship with the Pistons, Jordan, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Iverson, you can look back at fond memories,
Yeah.
right, of some of your old favorite players.
Right.
And to me, like at least in its first season, I think that is how a lot of people interpret it, like or would view it. At its best, it's a nostalgia tour,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
what is it? What do they call it? Memory berries, something
I
like that.
mean, member
You
berries
know,
from South Park.
Memory berry. Yeah,
Member,
there you go.
member. Out. Let me throw one memory out there, because I was going to big three games. I seen. Did I was it who was there when I went? I want to say Sekou Demboya, but yeah, he like walked across the floor and everybody was like Sekou, Sekou. But I just want to shout out a memory, the member berry in me. Shout out to Larry Sanders. I hope your wedding or your marriage is going good, because he proposed to his girlfriend at the game in Detroit. I want to say,
Oh,
I forget how long that was
I
ago,
just
but
saw him this weekend. Actually, he was playing. He was
yeah.
playing.
And
You know.
and at that time, people wanted to see. He was one of those players. People were like, "Why is he not on the roster? Because he smoked a blunt or something like that, or because he decided to kind of, go in that direction in his life with whatever he was doing with marijuana or whatever. Probably using it during the league not allowing it to be something like it has now. Last I knew, and so he kind of got. I don't know if he got banished or if he exiled, but yeah, it was cool to see him propose to his girlfriend at that game, and yeah, I was there. I was in attendance, pretty close too. So that was pretty cool for a little memory, a big three memory. Shout out to
Well,
the big
shout
three.
out.
Y'all
Hell
getting
yeah,
people
see?
married,
There you go.
and he was
All the
playing.
more, all the more adding to the atmosphere of those games that Ice Cube has created,
Yeah,
right? But you know, with nostalgia, there are obviously like anything that's nostalgic comes people are cynical, right?
yeah, hmm,
You're not giving like even like with movies or fashion, music, you're not
hmm.
giving us anything new.
No,
You're just trying to repackage and repurpose something. And again, like I said, play on our emotions, play on the affection that we have
right,
from those older players, right? And
right,
honestly, and I knew that was going to be the selling point for their inaugural season, and it
yeah,
absolutely was. But then when the games actually start happening,
yeah,
make an argument that it was kind of a joke at some point, right? Because a lot of those players were not in shape,
yeah,
at least not to play what they expected, right? I
yeah,
remember after the first week, they had to actually change the rules, right? The final score is now 50. It was originally, I think, like 70 or 80, but people
yeah.
were
I
so,
think
right?
so.
The players were so winded, right?
Yeah,
After week one. It's
yeah.
things like that. Again, as much as I love Iverson, he did not take it seriously, you
No,
know.
no.
And then you see guys, even though I loved seeing him out there because I haven't seen him since they played in the NBA, like
Yeah,
Cuttino Mobley, like they're guys that are like old
yeah,
now, right?
yeah.
So obviously people didn't take it seriously.
Hmm.
And so, and yet, here we are 7 years later,
Hmm.
and it's still around, and it's still
Yeah.
growing, and it's
Hmm.
still thriving,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, Michael, do you watch The Boys? The
No.
TV show, the cartoon, or
Mm-mm.
not cartoon. It's a comic book show. Oh, anyway, that's fine.
No. Wait,
Basically,
wait,
like,
wait. Have I seen? I've seen The Boys though,
yeah, it's on
but I
Amazon.
don't.
No,
Okay.
that's fine.
You
But
gonna make me?
basically, the only
You
reason
gonna make
why
me
is
tune
like,
back in? I got Amazon.
because I watched the recent episode the other day, and something like kind of stood out, and it's like basically like one of the characters, she's recruiting a potential new hero or whatever to
Yeah.
join the team, and
Okay.
she asks, "What are you selling? Like, what is it that you're selling to
Right.
fans?" And she goes, "What do you mean? Like, what are my powers? No, what is it that you're selling?" And she meant like, what is it that you're trying to convey? What is it that you're trying to get people to cling on to,
Gravitate to. Yeah.
gravitate towards, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, the NBA. What does the NBA sell? Right, that it's like the
Star
pinnacle
power.
of
Mm-hmm.
star power, the pinnacle of basketball. This is the best quality basketball, right? Whether you agree or not, the best quality basketball in the
Mm-hmm.
world. Say WNBA. I'm sure there's many interpretations. For me, I'd say, hey, right, this is it's like equality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, kind of like taking a step forward for women. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so it like dawned on me, like, what is it now after 7 years? What has the big three come to represent? What is it selling? And I don't think it's simply nostalgia anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you brought up, I like that you brought up Larry Sanders.
Yeah.
I think it's more like second chances,
Yeah. Yeah. That
but they're
was
not all the same kind of second chances. Second
chance. Yeah.
chance sometimes has a negative connotation, right? You're trying to right a wrong.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
don't think that's the case. And that's why I think, like, if we really look at the 7-year history and what they're doing, I can understand why it's thriving. For example,
Mm-hmm.
Michael, just forget right now, don't Google it.
Okay.
What do you think of when you hear the name Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf,
Oh,
aka Chris Jackson?
I think of him cooking because he was cooking.
Right?
And I was younger when he was in the league, so I didn't know why. I didn't know he had really even disappeared from the league. I thought he like probably retired or something until I got a little
Yeah.
older. My father didn't explain that to me either at the time that it happened, but he was nice to me. Like he was one of my favorite players. You know what I mean? Because he was just fast twitch and will pull those threes too, and just he was like when he have his explosive games, he had explosive games. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
seen a few of them. You know what I mean? Especially when he played Jordan, because I was watching WGN, watching every single damn Jordan game. I was
Yeah.
the way I watched Kobe, the way I watched Steph. Like I was watching Jordan, but I was definitely watching some of his games whenever they played. It was on national TV. Yeah, I would be watching those games. I was like damn near watching all basketball when I was younger. Like it didn't. I was a Reggie Miller lover too. You know what I mean? Like I
Isn't that like
love for so many players, but
isn't that like sacrilegious for being a Pistons fan?
What Reggie Miller?
Yeah, I mean Indiana, Detroit. I mean division rivals. No.
Not with me. Not with me. No, it might be just like even like in Jordan, it's sacrilegious in Detroit.
No.
It is.
No, he transcends. He transcends all that, dude.
No, I mean, but Detroit fans are like, oh, we hate like the old school heads. Oh, we hate Jordan because eventually he overtook us. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of how I feel about the Celtics as an organization, not their players, but so I get it. But Jordan's flair and flash. But anyway, Abdul-Rauf was the same. He was like flair and flash in a smaller body, like especially being introduced to basketball with Isaiah Thomas. You know what I mean? So to see somebody that small at that size, like doing what he was doing on the floor, what he was capable of, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think you're yes, I love that answer again. And
he's
what
been
you
doing
said
it in
earlier,
the Big Three. I have seen.
Well, I don't think he's played in recent seasons. He definitely played, I believe, the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, and he was nice.
He led. He definitely. I remember he led the Big 3 in 3-point percentage.
Yeah,
it wasn't even close.
Yeah,
it was like 45.6% from 3, and like on a very high volume. The thing is when his name is brought up, on NBA commentary, normally two things. Well, one of them specifically is like he was the precursor to Steph Curry,
To Steph Curry.
stylistically,
And kind of
right?
maybe Kyrie as well. He was probably
Right,
the combination
right. And
of the
yet,
two.
a lot of fans can't tell you a single thing about him, right? You just said it yourself. Like, okay, when you really started you got older, started to get more into basketball, he was kind of disappeared from the NBA scene.
Yeah.
Right?
Or not even more into basketball, but more into like politics, religion,
Okay.
the
Well,
way
there
of
you go.
life, the way
He had a
life goes for
21. He had a
some.
21 year professional career.
Yeah.
Only
And
10 of them were in the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, for people who don't
Follow.
actually, let me pause. Again,
Okay.
analogy,
Uh-oh.
a relevant
Uh-oh.
analogy.
Okay.
Have you ever you've seen Rocky Balboa,
Mm-hmm.
right? The sixth Rocky movie, right? Before the Creed trilogy.
Who's
Right?
Drago in this story?
No, Rocky Balboa, man.
I know.
Right? The
I'm
one where he
talking
fights
stuff.
Antonio Tarver. Right?
Okay.
No, but remember when he's considering getting back to fighting, Paulie says, What, what are you thinking? You haven't peaked yet? And he goes, I still got some stuff left in the basement. Some stuff, right?
Yeah.
What did Rocky mean? Right? Some things unresolved.
Yeah.
Right? Some feelings of just like a lack of completion in some aspect of his life.
Right.
And so going back to it, for Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson, let's call it like it is. His political and religious beliefs is why his NBA career was cut short.
Yes.
He's most known for refusing to stand for the national anthem, his national anthem protest.
Mm-hmm.
NBA fans do not know him because of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he had a wonderful career overseas.
Yeah.
He still was able to display that brilliance, but stateside fans were deprived of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, like, am I romanticizing this? Am I looking into it more? I don't know. Because if you look at the way he treated the big three with respect, this was his way of taking care of that stuff in the basement.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
His career, like, players say all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of two things normally happens to an NBA player, right?
Mm-hmm.
You realize it's time to call it quits, or essentially the league is going to let you know you're done because the phone stops ringing,
Yeah.
And for Abdul-Rauf, like, this is something that I don't think the NBA or any other league could provide, because yes, is part of his legacy rooted in nostalgia? Of course.
Yeah.
Right. But the big three, Ice Cube, it's not just a game, it's a platform for him to, kind of do the things he wants with, again, because, I know you and I talk about Kyrie a lot, never compromising his ideologies, never compromising his beliefs.
Right.
I'd like to think that if he played in this generation, would the league have been more acceptable of his beliefs? Would he have essentially been blackballed now? I don't know.
But I know it depends. I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's just. I think there would have been, especially with social media, there would have been an opportunity for more fan support. Because
yeah,
basically, he didn't realize that his last NBA game was his last NBA game.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying, like, it's not just trying to relive your glory years, right? I think for certain players like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, right, the big three has given them opportunity, to kind of have some closure, right, on their playing career, but to truly do it on their terms,
Right.
So
I like that. That's true.
And you look around, he's not alone. And that's what I'm saying. These second chances come in different ways, because a lot of times we say second chances because it's something rooted in regret.
Right.
But that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, there is former Baylor center Isaiah Austin, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And his NBA career was over before it ever began,
Right.
right? So for people, especially draft junkies, if you remember the name Isaiah Austin, he was a center out of Baylor. Definitely would have at the very least gone drafted somewhere in the second round. And
Just before the
because
draft.
of right before the draft, his medicals
Mm-hmm.
showed that he suffers from Marfan syndrome.
Yeah.
So, for our listeners, Marfan syndrome, that's a condition where like you have problem like with a connective tissue problem, right? Where like your tissue doesn't heal or regenerate normally. So, I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
sustain a tear or like a deep bruise, it could actually be very like debilitating because your body's not going to heal, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, and even though I'm not a fan of Adam Silver, I give him credit. He had a very nice
Yeah.
ceremonial,
Mm-hmm.
like
Drafting.
the league, the league drafted him, to
Yeah.
kind of know that they still support him,
Right.
you know. But and even though he never had an NBA career, right, because of some therapeutic intervention, and with a lighter schedule, with the big three only playing once a week, there's less cumulative wear and tear. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Ice Cube gave him a platform again, an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
but a platform to do the thing he loved.
I love where you're going with this.
You know?
Yeah. It's like differences and second chances based on your terms, basically. Like it's like
Yeah.
saying if you're passionate enough, he might not be able to go play overseas because it's a more physical brand of ball, or it's, the travel might hurt him a little bit too. But Q got this league set up in a way it's an event because it's set up usually when most people are free. It's once a week. He tries to make it a thing that people can attend, which is also something like you can schedule it. It's not
Yeah.
Monday, Thursday, then Saturday, and then the next Monday, Tuesday, and you know what I mean. Like it's this day. You get to clear your schedule and go see these people too. But to put, I love where you're going with this, man. Like it's truly like having the ability to keep on going with your passion, with your dream. You know what I mean? But
That's what
it
I'm
might
saying.
not be in the NBA, but a dream doesn't have to be regulated, especially if it's broad like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be regulated to one place or space. You can be Stephon Marbury and go play in China and
Right.
go get a damn statue. Whereas in the NBA, they gon' the fan base is talking smack about you and oh you're not this and that and oh this and this and that, but you could go somewhere else and be heralded. You know what I mean? You could be
Right.
revered. So Ice Cube is definitely giving them the opportunity to, yeah, like it's like second chance to just keep on going, or to show them what you could have been had they not, you know, man, keep going. Let me not cut you
I
off.
mean, it's real. No, no, no. You're not cutting me off.
Yeah,
Like it's because I think you understand, especially
yeah,
that we're getting older. I
hmm
mean, ideally you want to say you can live your life without regrets, but I think that's probably not possible. I think there's things that we wish we could do over. You know?
but sometimes, like even us being together, I would say it's it's come from a long line of work, attempts, failures, and then for you to like look at me and see in me my vision, my passion. We share that same vision for each other, and I see
Right.
yours. And for me personally to have had it in other places in the past, for you to have had it in places in the past, but then we're here now. You know what I mean? It makes it where all of the past was worth it, because
Oh,
if we didn't
absolutely.
if we didn't go through those journeys, will we covet it as much now? You know what I mean? Or will we understand what's potentially like right there? You know what I mean? Like sometimes it takes experience in order to know what's at hand, instead of just going into it and just, then you fumble. You know what I mean? And then
No.
then then it's a regret.
Right. Right.
So,
No, but I absolutely agree, and I
hmm
think in a way that is what Ice Cube has done
yeah,
and cultivated. Right. It's
hmm
it's not about regret. It's about all these people that he's brought in, sure, I mean, you brought them in, some just obviously name recognition,
Yeah.
and they're entertaining,
Hmm.
but they're all there for the same reason. One, they love the game,
Right.
and despite whatever age, injury,
Hmm.
um, life, maybe some kind of life
Yeah.
event,
Yep. Yep.
they didn't stop grinding.
Right.
What
Exactly.
other? I understand that this is not prestigious, at least not yet, as the
Right.
NBA or Euroleague or anything like that. But
Yeah.
what other league gives these players an opportunity, you know,
Hmm.
where, because that's the thing. What I love about Ice Cube is he never treated it, even though some players, again, initially, I wouldn't say they treated it like a joke, but they didn't take it as seriously as they could
Serious.
have that
Yeah.
inaugural season. But Ice Cube, he never treated this like a joke.
Right.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. He was on the floor. He was sitting on the floor like a few
Oh
rows
yeah,
in
he
front of
still
me.
is.
Yeah.
He still
So
is.
he was visible. You know what I mean? Like he's there. He's for sure there. And
You know,
um as far as like what was I gonna say? Um oh, this is an idea. It's probably far off. His son may have to carry it. Who knows? But what if somehow?
his son's a great
What
actor.
if somehow? Or maybe it doesn't even have to go Olympic based. But what if Ice Cube, considering it is a week between games, can expand if he can get enough, like, I guess, attention or maybe notoriety abroad that suddenly it's a big three and it could be Big Three
Ooh,
International. You already knew where I was going with that. It's a
no,
Big
no,
Three
but now I know.
International. Yeah, a Big Three So it's a Big Three International, and then maybe the international teams could play against one another. The American teams could play against one another, and somehow I don't know how. Maybe they play each other even during the time, and sometimes go over there and play. Sometimes come over here and play, just to mix it up that much more. Because basketball
Right.
is like second to soccer, I think, isn't it? Wouldn't it be in popularity worldwide?
I'd have to imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of,
So
yeah, worldwide. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I would think, yeah, like it would it be in so many basketball leagues, like it's soccer leagues, like they're everywhere. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
It's not set up
especially
like
now.
soccer. I
No, but
wish it was. Yeah,
7 years in, because that's the thing, right? Like,
yeah,
especially in America, right? The
yeah,
most popular sport in America, right, is
yeah,
American football.
yeah,
And yet, look how many non NFL leagues have failed and failed fast,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
We're in year 7 of the Big Three.
yeah,
That means Ice Cube really did figure out something, right?
yeah,
And they got people coming back to watch and support because they are growing. I mean, I know
yeah,
like he's got money, but dude, I mean, he's a businessman. You're not going to just like, operate on a continuous loss,
yeah,
you know?
at all.
The template's there. If I agree. I mean, he could, in theory, do this,
Yeah,
um,
he'll
internationally.
come hire us or come
Yeah.
throw us some bread for that idea.
He even
We're
announced, I
gonna
think,
plug
this
it.
past weekend that the Big Three is expanding.
Yeah,
They're adding more teams, and they actually now have owners,
yeah,
like team owners, right? It's
yeah,
not just a league owned, right? Like,
yeah.
entity.
Hmm.
I mean, he could definitely be teaching
Yeah.
some
I
other leagues,
mean,
you know?
he's always had business savvy. You know what I mean?
But it's not, yes, definitely. But I mean, like,
Underrated business
the
savvy,
reason
honestly.
why, like, obviously, yes, right?
Hmm.
Like, okay, I was talking to you about this earlier, right? I mean, I'm with you. I love the nostalgia. I had a kick this past weekend watching Greg Monroe and Al Jefferson fight in the paint, dude. It was awesome. It was awesome, dude. Okay. And I know like a
Yeah.
lot of you don't share my enthusiasm. Oh
Yeah.
no. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two,
No, but
yeah.
we'll get back to that in a second. But I mean,
Okay.
like, he's done the things Adam Silver says the NBA strives to do. He's doing it. He's not just saying it. Like, for
Right.
example, from the 2012 draft class, Royce White. Remember Royce White?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Power forward out of Iowa State. I loved him.
Yeah, me
I,
too.
I still have my old draft board. He was really high. I had him as a top 10 pick. He
Yeah,
basically, Draymond became what I thought Royce White could have been in the NBA.
yeah,
Like, that's why I'm like, whoa, we
yeah,
like we
yeah.
still got him, right?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, time can be different. Um, Basically, Royce White was out of the league within a year, like after a year,
Yeah.
because he couldn't be an NBA player. He could not be. He could not fulfill the requirements of an NBA player because he told Daryl Morey and the Houston Rockets time and again that
Mm-hmm.
he had problems with like the traveling and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff like that because he suffered from anxiety.
Right.
I at least remember at the time what some of the discourse was regarding Royce White. People called him crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They called him
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, they did.
They called him a cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know since then, he's become very vocal
Political.
about his political views.
Yeah, political.
Let's just table that because
Yeah,
you could all have it.
Exactly. Let's just table it. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, right? But
Yeah.
at the time, back in the 2012-2013 season, he kept trying to bring up mental health awareness,
Yeah,
and he was ostracized.
early. He's
Now,
trying to bring it up
since then, hasn't there become an increase on mental health awareness?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's mental health awareness month. It's probably mental health awareness day. It's the mental health of this, the mental health of that, therapy, and yeah, that's like the new wave now. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that Royce White should be viewed as like some kind of like activist or anything like that, or trailblazer.
Mm-hmm.
But with the benefit of time, seems like he was not completely far off,
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's fair that he was not in the NBA. If you cannot play,
Right.
with this kind of schedule, I understand that.
Yeah.
But again, second chances. What other league gave him an opportunity to do what he loved and to
Nobody.
understand within those confines, like his own, right?
Yeah.
His self-imposed in the sense that he's acknowledging, right, that these are the circumstances he has to play around.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, yes, I do. I roll my eyes at Adam Silver because you say this now after you basically kicked a guy to the curb. And again, he should not. But I mean, like, it was not, I don't think, handled well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And again, these players that Ice Cube brings in, at no point do they have to concede, or, kind of settle or change
or
their
conform.
ways. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
He somehow brought in all these people with different stories, different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And it all works.
And at the end of the day, they're all coming together for one thing. There's one thing that's supposed to bring us all together, which is sports, yes, but to play basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you go up and down, and that's what I'm saying. Like, these are certain players that have stood out to me over the few years because it's like, man, I get it, right? Like, it's completely two different leagues, two different like rules, formats. It's just the understanding, that they sought in their prime years. It's like they're finding it with Ice Cube's Big 3.
Right.
So that's why I do look at it significantly higher. I don't think it's not just nostalgia. And it really isn't. It really isn't. Right?
Yeah.
It used to, I think, just going off the top of my head, I believe the minimum age to participate in the Big 3 was like 29. Then they reduced it to 27. Now it's 22, meaning that you're getting athletes in their prime, their physical prime, electing to play in the Big 3. Now, I mean, of course, right? A lot of these guys would prefer to be in the NBA and make substantially more money.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not a joke, you know?
And they don't have to wait because The G League going to continue, or is it done now?
The G League is continued. The
I mean,
Ignite,
the Ignite is
yeah,
not.
yeah, the Ignite's done.
So the Ignite is a step up from just regular G League. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And if the Ignite is gone, then what? You know what I mean? Like how many? We have a few G League people that were drafted but sent down and then brought back, but I'm not sure that that's going to be. Is not going to touch the G League Ignite with that because they damn near get somebody drafted every year. You know what I mean? And um, Ice Cube's league, on the other hand, letting them come in at 22, like that allows you to really put on a display damn near the same time the summer league will be going on. You know what I mean?
right.
So if they don't make a summer league team, they could go play for the big three. They got more opportunity.
Probably you're definitely better compensated,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Playing in the big three.
yep,
But speaking of that, about you don't make a summer league team, all that stuff.
yeah.
Um, the NBA's
Uh
the
oh,
NBA's relationship with the big three
uh
is,
oh.
well, according to Ice Cube, it's non-existent.
Right.
Right? He has said
Mm,
this multiple times, but he just recently said it, I believe, today when
okay.
asked. He was asked point blank, I think like on Mike Miller's podcast or something like that.
Okay.
Um, why is it that it seems like the NBA does not acknowledge the big three? And he said, no, it doesn't seem like they don't acknowledge us. They don't acknowledge us.
Right.
Period. Which is really fascinating and hypocritical if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like was it 2 seasons ago when COVID was still at its highest? The
Yeah.
players are like, it's like, a Woj bomb, every other hour about a player that is now on the COVID list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the season could have been tanked, right? If they had to cancel those games.
Yeah.
And it didn't. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because they started calling up a bunch of players from the G League overseas and the big three.
Nice.
Joe Johnson got
Yeah, that's
one
true.
more, right? Right?
Yep.
That was right where it all started. He got to
Was it
put the Celtics,
um, Celtics? Okay.
right?
I know the
There's a
Pistons
couple
had
other
him
players too.
for a
Yeah,
second.
there were a couple other
Yeah.
players too. What I'm saying is, isn't it? You tell me, Michael. I mean, help me understand this. It's ironic. You're telling me that a player that was playing in the Big Three is good enough to play in the NBA, but the NBA can't acknowledge that the Big Three exists.
I mean, it's like the NBA. Okay, are we being honest?
Let's be honest,
Are
yeah.
we going? Are we? Because people might try to come.
Good. I'm
um.
Asian. Like I know martial arts. Okay. So,
Okay. Okay. And I just can throw hands. So
there you
between the
go.
two of us.
All right, Clubber Lang. There you go, dude.
um.
No,
What do
you're Luke
you
Cage. You're Luke Cage.
feel?
I'm Shang-Chi. There you go.
Okay. Let's. Hey.
There you go.
Shout out to Marvel Snap.
That's right, dude.
Um. Yeah. If y'all got that on your phone, holla at me because I will destroy you. But uh. What I want to bring to people's attention is, do you notice when LeVar Ball came out with his league? That's really what made the G League Ignite take off. That's really what made the G League increase their pay. That's really what made the G League what it became. LeVar Ball curated that. You know what I mean? And then Adam Silver went and ran with it. So I think that Q may not be being acknowledged because he may have some type of patent or trademark or something in place that makes it where you have to go through him in order to kind of put that kind of product out. You know what I mean? Like a 3-on-3 featuring, I don't know if it's like locked with him, is like in just written and it's legal, black and white, but it just, for the NBA to not have done nothing like that, for MTV to not bring back Rock and Jock, you know what I mean? Something like that. Nobody's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So what is it about the big three that makes it where it's the only? And then if we want to look at other 3-and-3s, if you're not having some rec league in your local neighborhood doing it, then you're looking at the Olympics. You know what I mean? Or FIBA. That's it. So those are the only 3-on-3 platforms. And that might be a reason why, because Adam Silver may not really be able to dabble in that court. He just might not be able to do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, It's just perhaps,
especially if
or
they're not
or
going to turn
or
a coin. If
or
he's
if you
not going to
truly
get a bigger
believe.
coin,
I mean, Cube did say he believes that that he believes Adam Silver views the big three as a threat.
yeah,
And in a way, it can be like for like the examples that we said already, in terms of the second chances. But I mean,
yeah, you have
the
names.
NBA, yes, exactly. The names. The NBA prides itself on being a community, a family.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you telling me all these former players that in the big three, these are the family members that you never contact unless like there's a wedding or a funeral? Why is it right? Like seriously, right? Like I understand that he's a cultural icon, Ice Cube, that is.
Yeah,
But it's pretty interesting, right? That like he can foster a relationship with all these players, different personalities, right?
and
Whether it's
old school
Mahmoud
players.
Abdul-Rauf,
Mm-hmm.
right? Dr. J, Rick
Dr. J. I
Barry,
was gonna say Dr. J. Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What does Dr. J or Rick Barry? What does Rick
Rick
Barry have in
Mahone.
common with what does Rick Barry have in common with Steven Jackson? You know what I'm saying? And yet they're all part of this big three family. This is something Adam Silver has not been able to accomplish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know
Like,
what? When you put it, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when you put it that way, when you talk about ownership, maybe we need to dive deeper into who some of the owners are, the ability for them to be owners, the fact that it's probably at a lower valuation. Um, there's more inclusiveness that's possible as opposed to it. Like the NBA would probably feel like Congress or the Senate. They just keep on 8 years. All right, 8 more years. All right, 8 more years. Damn it, I've been here for 40.
Yeah,
Because how many people want Steve Dolan gone? You know what I mean? They want
right.
Dolan. They want. Did I say his name right? Steve Dolan. Yeah, yeah. So
James Dolan. James Dolan.
James Dolan. I'm sorry. Where did
Yeah.
I get Steve from?
No, you're good.
They want James Dolan gone, but he doesn't have to let go of the team. As long as he's not doing some, I forget the Clippers dude, Donald Sterling. As long as he's not doing nothing like that, he's not going nowhere if he doesn't want to. So it's like absolute, you know what I mean? But I just think things being in the early stages bring more attention and attraction, just like the WNBA. They've got Dwayne Wade partaking. They've got is it Tom Brady with the Aces? Um, you know what I mean? Like they actually have some type of ability for people to get in now, as opposed to it being, oh, I gotta form this group and oh, we gotta be worth probably 10 billion to buy a $5 billion team. You know what I mean? Or a $3 billion team. Like is and then you're only having so much, and then that's whatever amount you have, that's just how little your inclusion or your involvement level can go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the furthest it can go. So the NBA the reason the big three is probably bubbling on that front probably does start from the top because of that. And is because the NBA, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of looking. I mean, a lot of people have been screaming nepotism with like LeBron James's sons, and like they just seen
Right.
LeBron James's son, Carmelo's son. Was it Scottie Pippen, Kenya, somebody, Gilbert Arenas' son? So they're just like, oh, look at this nepotism, you know. So they probably look at it like a dictatorship as well.
Right.
Whereas they can't really buy into it. I mean, if I can get in on on an NBA team, I would do it. You know what I mean? But what's the likelihood? You know what I mean? Like it's hard. So the big three has the ability for people to be able to actually jump in right now, and especially if they love basketball, be involved, be heard, be seen as the owners and whatnot. And it's crazy that it's a little bit more magnified. You know what I mean? Like they basically get to be the Pat Rileys and um
Yeah.
who's like another, I mean, James Dolan's, if he's sitting in the crowd, Mark Cuban, like they get to be that just as soon as they are with the team in that capacity too. So I think that that is something that makes it where it's going to grow, and is the growth is going to be top to bottom right now. You know what I mean? Until the
Right.
league becomes a dominant billion-dollar force like that, super
Right.
multi-billion-dollar, I should say.
I mean, eh, yeah. In terms of no. I think that's a really great way of looking at it.
Yeah,
But again, I think all that is to say, like, everything you just said is those possibilities are probably, like, if those are actual possibilities,
Yeah.
that the trajectory of the big three could go on,
Yeah.
then that is exactly why I do
Hmm.
believe Adam Silver is threatened.
Yeah.
And even, well, the WNBA is subsidized still by the NBA. Let's be clear. So I mean, no, I bring that up because
No,
think
we
about it this
talked
way.
about that on the 6th.
No, I mean, the average viewership of a WNBA game is 1.32 million people.
Hmm.
Okay, in its 25 years of existence, so that's currently right in only 7 years with a much smaller league, right, and less teams. The average viewership of a Big Three game is 515,000 people.
Hmm. Okay.
What I'm saying is, Cube, his up, like the momentum, right? Like the growth. I mean, like, growth won't always be linear. But what I'm saying is, like, relatively speaking, right?
Yeah.
To like I said, like the number of games available and how
Yeah.
long, like since like the inception of the Big Three.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively speaking, his viewership and ratings are kicking butt. And to be fair, he does, right. Like the Big Three did start when the NBA season is ending.
Right.
So he's not trying, and that's the thing. He's never tried to come off like he's being competition,
Right.
right? It's not like back in the day, like in the 60s and 70s, right, when there was the NFL and the
Yeah.
USFL,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's almost as if there are a lot of things that both leagues can learn, from Ice Cube. Who would have thought, right? A rapper out of Compton would go on to be like such a savvy businessman. No, I'm serious. You want to
Yeah.
talk about, like, not that he needs a second chance, but a second life, right? Both
Yeah.
him and Snoop Dogg, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Look at where they are now compared to where they started. I'm not even talking about like financially.
No,
Like, they're on
just business
comedies.
wise. Yeah.
Snoop does like the show with Martha Stewart. Like, what? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tangent. It's a tangent, but it is a tangent, but it's a relevant tangent in the sense that, like, again, right? It seems like, and again, maybe it's because of his personality and who he is, like, culturally, but it's just like there seems like he's finding more avenues for growth and a lot faster, right? And
It's
again, not
be
competition, but it's like, man,
it's because Cube doesn't wait for attachments or validation, I should say. Like, that's why I had started a media company, because I didn't feel like my writing at the time, and I'm a much better podcaster, speaker, all of that now, but I didn't want to have somebody tell me, "Oh yeah, you're validated." You know what I mean? Cube
yeah,
had Cube Vision, like, what? How many years after, or within the beginning of his acting career? Within 10 years. You know what I
right,
mean? So he doesn't sit there and just say, "Oh yeah, I need them to accept me. Oh, I need them to like my audition. Oh, I need them." He said, "Nope, we making Cube Vision. We about to make my movies. Oh, I'm making my own basketball league. I ain't waiting on Adam Silver to say, okay, you can make this big three, and we'll allow you to use our contract at NBA." No, he was like, no, I'm gonna just do it like this. And then as you go, you learn as you go, and that's what he's been doing, going from 29 to 27 to 22 age range. Uh, Having the changes take place during COVID in order to keep things afloat. Like, you gotta go, you learn as you go, and he's just, especially at this point, that's probably his one of his main focuses is the big three. I would think it's probably his top priority. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And because of what it can potentially continue to grow into, um, and especially with him not having to so many more obligations as he would have had 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna do
right,
this movie, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I got this album dropping, I've got to go on tour for this many dates, and I gotta, like, the big three is something he can literally sit down and pay attention to. Okay, this ain't go like this. Let me try to tweak that right there. Okay, this one, like, oh, that was good. Okay, so I wonder if I could make it turn up a little bit right here. And then he's able to sit down and actually do that. You know what I mean?
right,
So yeah, he is a threat. How, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, he's got to be a threat. And then again, it's the names that are coming over. It's the second chances. Like, you introduced to this, you set as the premise for this, like second chances. It's just like, and different types of second chances, not, like you said, not regrets, not nothing, just basically the DeMarcus Cousins and Dwight Howards, the Stephon Marbury's of the world. The hell, if we want to go deep enough, we can mention a whole lot of players that go overseas and or whatever. Hell, I would like to see a Ricky Rubio, Paul Gasol, Mark Gasol team. Why not?
That would
You
be
know what I mean?
see,
Team Spain,
dude.
forget it.
But I'm serious, man. I mean, like
Yeah,
in no particular order.
Tony
I don't
Parker,
know.
Wemby, and
No, of the current, like
Killian Hayes.
dude. Well, okay, that's for a different pod, man.
See
Because
what
no,
I'm
no, no, no,
saying?
no, no,
I
no, no,
mean,
no, no. He
Killian
can still
Hayes
he can still ball. Like
he can.
he's I'm gonna add him on my line right now. Again, we're taking a tangent, but we'll right another episode topic, right? Who's gonna be the next Dante Exum? Who's gonna be the next Dante Exum? Right now, my pick is Mario Hazonia. My pick is Mario Hazonia.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
I've seen
okay.
enough of him in EuroLeague. I think like he's a much better player than he was in his last stint in the NBA. This is a
Yeah,
complete tangent, but Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is on that list. He is still I still believe. Okay.
yeah,
Not a
because he's got point
superstar.
guard
But
skills.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You know. But again, like other guys, see, um, like we said, Mario Hazonia,
Hmm.
Killian Hayes. Actually, it is relevant. These are guys who, for one reason or another, um, the NBA said, we're going to move on from you for now.
Hmm.
But again, if they stick to it like Dante Exum, maybe they can have like an NBA comeback, a little resurgence,
Hmm.
And some of the players in the big three have experienced that. Frankly, some of them you can make an argument should still get an opportunity. Which
Hmm.
is why I brought up Greg Monroe. I don't know how you felt about him during his
I
Pistons tenure.
loved Greg Monroe
Except Moose.
because
I met him at
Moose
Summer League.
Monroe.
He's the nicest
Yeah,
dude ever, man.
yeah, like
Guy like towers over me, man.
I mean, he was good in the post. He was good with his little like close range jump shot, and like I liked Moose Monroe because he was. It's like the NBA with him in particular, Jaleel Okafor,
Yes.
uh, to some extent Jabari Parker, those players that were cut from the old school cloth
Yes. No, I
have
think you're saying
the
it perfectly.
old school elements of their game, but don't necessarily fully fit in with the, you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
pace and space era. Because what was I listening to? It might have been like it was probably more than likely XM radio. Um, and I think it was Amin El Hassan, who's been in the front office of NBA
Yeah.
teams. But I think he was saying something like, I don't know if it was Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald. Am I saying that right, David? For the Grizzlies, the coach,
Fizdale.
Fizdale.
Yeah.
I'm sleepy, y'all. Um, Fizdale. I don't know if it was Fizdale or if it was somebody else. The coach before that, telling Mark Gasol that we need you to shoot threes, and he was
Yeah.
upset about it, and eventually he ended up shooting threes. It was Mike D'Antoni who went to the
Yeah.
Lakers and
Oh my
wanted
god.
Pau
Yeah.
Gasol to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Fast forward, Bulls Spurs. What is Pau Gasol doing? He's shooting threes. So the league may have turned the dial up right
Yeah.
then, which is why Steph Curry became what he became, because the league wanted it to go there that fast,
Right.
that far, that soon.
I mean,
Steph was the one that brought that in there. You know what I mean? So, and then what happened? The rest of the league did that. So a lot of teams were trying to curate their teams behind that type of thing. Now we see how many threes being launched. Like if we look back, it's 2024 now. If we look back 10 years and we look back at the percentage of threes teams were shooting, it's just gonna be, wait, let me do this the right way on YouTube. It's gonna look like this, damn it. Like it's gonna be a straight ass up line. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we went from shooting 12 a game to 40 a game. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's just stupid. And I think some players of that ilk, the Greg Monroes and whatnot,
Yes.
because they weren't capable or they didn't adapt quick enough, that they were looked at as liable. So
I would say archaic,
yeah,
obsolete.
yeah,
You
yeah. I
know.
mean, to
Um,
to a certain extent. If Greg Monroe was on that Mavericks team, we might be having a different conversation. They might have won that extra game.
oh man, and that's we'll never know about that. All I'm saying is,
No,
yeah,
we
I
won't.
do. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think you explained that perfectly. I think the way the league, the trends in the league, especially offensively,
Yeah.
stylistically, as they
Hmm.
were changing a lot of those guys. Because I mean, like, dude, I remember like that was 2010. That was 2010 draft class.
Yep.
I was so I 'cause I knew I read all the mock drafts going into
Yeah.
it, like
Hmm.
because you guys picked after us,
Hmm.
the Warriors, man, and I knew as the draft was coming up, like every mock draft had Epe Udo going to the Warriors, and
Yeah.
like God bless his heart, he's a
Yeah,
great
they
guy,
did.
nice guy, and I'm like, what the hell, like, dude, I kept saying like, okay, Boogie's not gonna fall to us, right? Then the Warriors should just draft Greg Monroe. You want a big man, just draft Greg. I did not understand that. It was so dumb. And you like people could like laugh now. It was like, oh, Connor, it doesn't matter. Like he ended up being out of the league. No, it did matter. He had more trade value at the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we ended up trading Udo,
Yeah.
So if we ended up
Yeah.
trading Monroe, we probably get more back from him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's
I'm mad about that draft too because I wanted DeMarcus Cousins and he went one pick before
two,
we can get him, and
two.
then we got Drummond.
Right.
He went to the King. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah. The Kings. DeMarcus went to the Kings, and then the Pistons had Drummond, and I was like, shout out to Drummond, but
No, you
I
got
mean,
Drummond the next year.
wait. Oh, that was the Greg Monroe draft.
Yeah, Drummond was
Okay.
2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
too.
So yeah, I wanted DeMarcus Cousins.
Because I remember that. I remember that specifically because I'm a big Festus Ezeli fan. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, I think people again will roll their eyes. Connor, I don't supposed with your scouting. Fuck you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
like no, that guy was a legit true rim protector. Okay, injuries ended his career like prematurely. All I'm saying is, I remember the rumors was the Warriors brought in Drummond and Ezeli at the same time, right? When
Mhm.
they're like making their tours for draft pre-draft workouts for the
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
And they're saying that Ezeli like gave Drummond the business. So I'm like, okay, I'm all on board. I'm on board with Ezeli. That was
Yeah.
what sold me. I'm like, because I already like
Yeah.
this tape from Vanderbilt, but I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, yeah. So
Wow.
well,
So
that took a
yeah.
tangent. That took a tangent. But I guess before we end, and one final thought about again, this funny thing is if it's true, like we don't know, but we're making an educated guess, right? If we
Yeah.
believe, like Cube does,
Hmm.
that Adam Silver views the big three as a threat,
Hmm.
I think those feelings were only reinforced when he tried to sign Caitlin Clark to the
Oh
big
yeah.
three.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
If that
Because
rumor is true, that contract he offered, no woman makes that contract in any professional league. Any professional league.
no.
Like, and that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to abide by FIBA rules. He's a private entity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
like, if he could really pull that off, right? What
Yeah.
if he dropped? Because then, what you said earlier. What if he dropped the minimum age to like 18? Then he can completely like snake players from the college system,
Yeah.
from the G League, right? Like
Hmm.
like he would have because you could if
Oh.
that's true, he could really afford to play a single player that much, like man, and that's what I'm saying. The WNBA. I mean, I know
You want to
it was
end on
not
that
likely.
topic, but it's so much that can be broken down with that. Like we could talk about NIL deals, like would they still be a thing? You know what I mean? We could talk about like, cause imagine NIL deals and still having a big three deal with Cube. Like,
No.
Good lord.
I mean, no offense to LeVar Ball and his whatever big baller brand league. I don't remember what it was called.
Yep, big baller brand.
Essentially, right? It was
Mm-hmm.
highlighted by LaMelo,
Mm-hmm.
I think LiAngelo, and a bunch of like their former high school teammates. And to be fair, right? I mean, Sierra Canyon, all this, like they have good players. My point being though is like if Q had been able to sign a player of Caitlin Clark's caliber away from one of the major like professional leagues, like
Mm-hmm.
that really is a threat. That is, and again, the fact that these are even something that we can discuss because it's rooted in something that was
Mm-hmm.
made possible.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, man. That's innovation. That's
That
innovation.
imagine during a man, nah, it wouldn't be possible. But I'll flip it this way. Imagine he introduces like a woman's version of the big three.
I mean,
And he pays them more
why?
than
Oh,
minimum WNBA wage. Should I shut up?
no. I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't. I'm not sure fully like what big three salaries are.
yeah.
But
I mean, but if he's trying to throw 5 million at Caitlin Clark or eight,
that's what I'm
whatever it
saying.
was, like
Because,
okay,
like,
so
dude,
yeah,
and again, I'm not sure. Like, sometimes overseas, like soccer leagues,
yeah,
when they say like, "Oh, your contract is this," it takes into account like the endorsements that they get for being a part of the team.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so I'm not really sure like what
You
that
got me
five
want to do some
million.
math. I want to do
I
some
want
math.
to look into it too. No, but like the point is like, outside of her, I believe it's Nike, right? Is she Nike? Is she Nike? Did she sign with
Who?
Nike?
Caitlin?
Caitlin Clark,
Yeah,
right? I mean, outside
of
of it, which
course.
again, her big endorsement contract. I'm saying outside
Hmm.
of that, I mean, I'm sure she has other endorsements, but I mean, just an actual player contract, it doesn't come close to 5 million. We know that.
Right.
We know like none. That is like they made public. We know none of the WNBA, like the top WNBA salaries, don't even come close, not even remotely close to that. So
Right.
it's like, dude, that is a threat. That is a threat. Adam Silver, was it Kathy Engelberg? You should be threatened, man. you know.
Okay, so I'm
What
a
if he
plug.
offered the same? What if he offered the same contract to Juju Watkins?
Good lord.
You know what I'm saying? What's to stop him? And he
It's
probably won't. He will. He will. He will at least offer.
man, it's so much potential. It's like okay, so I just looked up Big Three. Uh, it says their salary is I don't know how accurate this is, but and it might be old. Oh yeah, this is from 2022. So as of 2022,
Okay.
they earn 10,000 per game plus
Okay.
additional bonuses based on team performance, which means players can reach 100,000 in a single season, which is over what a 3 month span,
Right.
right? That's pretty damn good,
That's
especially
good. That's good. Yeah.
for WNBA players to make 70,000 over the same amount of time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Without, I don't know if they have incentives like they're saying bonuses, but okay.
I
So
mean,
if we up that number to whatever it is now, you know what I mean? So I okay, hold on, go ahead because I'm about to
no, because
crunch these
The
numbers.
top G League players only make like what 60, 65K, 70K, right? Just
Yeah,
if you're just on a G League roster, no 10-day contract call
right,
up.
right.
So I mean, like, and they play what 3 seasons, or 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons, or 3 months, right? I
Mm,
think G League seasons 50 games, right? So you're telling me what the big 3 seasons, 12 games max, I think. So 12 games, you get 100K.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah.
roughly 10 games, maybe. I don't know.
Something.
I mean, no, that's what I'm saying. Which
Yeah,
is why again, if you believe that there is jealousy amongst the women, that Caitlyn receiving that type of shoe deal,
yeah.
uh, I would have to imagine there'd be some jealousy, right? Of like from the big three
From the
players if she got.
yeah.
But again, I'm
Oh, so
not
you're
sure
paying
how.
Caitlin Clark $5 million? Damn it!
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure
Yes.
what that 5 million is. But he does again. It's not. It's not a league like the NBA with a salary cap. He really could just offer players whatever the heck he wants.
Right.
right? And that's what I'm saying. When you don't have those types of limitations, my God, the things that he could do. Now
So
again, he's not signing Giannis, or we're not that like delusional. But I
right,
mean, but like you said, right? Could it be an alternative to doing one and done if he really wanted to? I mean, like,
just
it probably
crunching
wouldn't be great
numbers.
for scouting, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, it wouldn't be because it's not full court basketball. You know what I mean?
right.
So, but I mean, at the same time, you get to see what people can do in a half court setting, which is what matters, especially in different types of actions. If there's 3 man
Playoff crunch time.
actions, yeah, playoff action. So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, it has some advantage, disadvantage to it. You know what I mean? But it's just a matter of what the coaches in the NBA are looking for. What teams play, what certain styles does a team play half court? Do they play just fast paced, run up and down, get out? For them to be actually scouting big league players. But I mean, then again, to a certain extent, if he did down the age, if he did make it where college athletes like, okay, so real quick, I crunched the numbers, and it's just what's funny is not only did not I think I know why Adam Silver feels like he's a threat.
Lay it on me.
He's a direct threat. No, you know what? I don't want to say that. That's controversial. I don't want to say
Say it.
it. His model, having the amount of teams he has, is a direct threat to the NBA and what's connected to it, whether it's the G League, whether it's subsidizing the WNBA. And this is a slap in the face to the NBA for subsidizing the WNBA because that $5 million that he offered Caitlin Clark is 12 big 3 teams, 6 players a team. He can pay each player $69,444 and 44 cents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not counting bonuses or nothing. And then if we up it, it'll be double. Like if he did 10 million, suddenly they're making 138,000 in 2 or 3 months. That's way more livable than what the minimum player in the WNBA is getting. That's
Yeah.
way more than what any G League player will think of. And is like, what's the minimum? The minimum in the NBA is like 500,000, right?
In what?
In the NBA, a minimum deal,
No.
like a minimum deal, isn't
For
it
a rookie
still?
minimum, they're
Uh,
making just shade under a million
not
now.
not rookie. Just like, let's say they signed a veteran. Let's say DeMarcus Cousins was like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming back. I'm doing a minimum deal." What's that? Like 500,000 or is it 800,000?
Oh no, like it's $2.6 million.
Oh damn. Okay, so I got some old type
Oh
of
yeah,
numbers
yeah.
in my head, but
Minimum's not minimum anymore. It's minimum, but it's not like insignificant anymore.
okay. So imagine those numbers. Let's say 10 million, 12 teams, 6 players, women.
Yeah, that's why I had to bring it up because it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that he could just offer that, if that was a real offer, and he's said it multiple times now, so it leads me to believe
Hmm.
there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
Like then yes, it's
Yeah.
not just Adam Silver, right? The WNBA should also feel threatened. Threatened. But,
I mean, but with the WNBA feeling threatened, the NBA has to feel threatened
yeah,
because they're the ones, and you're gonna hear about this on the 6th because we actually touched on this pretty heavy. Um, it take money to make money, and to keep on like just taking the bigger. I mean, okay, you're gonna take the big piece of chicken. Why not just give everybody a big piece of chicken when you've been eating a big piece of chicken for how long now? Since after Jordan retired. You know what I
right.
mean? Players are making what Jordan made in his career in 1 year now. So you don't have it where
Huh,
you can just,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have it, and it's gonna go up. Like in a minute, we're gonna see $60 million contracts. We're gonna see 70 million a year. We're gonna. Why did I could go into it, but
All right.
I could, and that's the problem. The problem
You see that?
sometimes the problem is yourself. That's the NBA's problem in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, I guess, as we end it, it seems, again, not trying to romanticize it, but I think in this entire discussion, it seems like we can identify problems In other
Hmm.
leagues, seems like Cube is providing solutions.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
from a micro to a macro level.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of all his players, but they seem to be pretty happy. Right?
Yeah.
They seem to find some sense of fulfillment. I think that's I think anyone strives for that. So
Yeah. Definitely.
so
Man,
yeah,
shout out to the big three. Shout out to you, Cube. Shout out.
hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
F the police.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dog, man.
Yeah. Well.
My first two CDs wherever was Dr. Dre. It was the Chronic. I know my,
Hmm.
my my parents didn't want me to like feel left out, right? Because
Hmm.
I have an older brother and older sister, so they take him to Tower Records. So
Yeah.
they let me pick out something. So I picked out like America's Most Wanted.
Did you? Man.
They didn't
My
really. I
mom.
mean, like my parents aren't fobs, but they didn't really know exactly what was on it. So I
Yeah.
was like, I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. No, my
I was like,
mother,
hey,
ooh wee. She made me go to Kmart when it was still around and get the censored version of everything. But at first she would not let me buy nothing. She would get it from me, take it back. Yeah. And then I'm like, I want to listen to that. And she took
well,
me
there
to
you go.
Kmart and I had censored versions for about a good year. But my
That's
sister
crazy.
had uncensored versions, so it didn't matter.
Oh, there you go. See, sharing is
Yeah.
caring.
Sharing, I mean, or taking is
Okay.
I don't got a rhyme for it right now.
Well, on that note, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and yeah,
Hmm.
I encourage you, we encourage you to check out the big three. And again, just because it's not the NBA, just because it's different, doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll find some entertainment, some joy in it.
yeah.
So, Michael, why don't you tell the people where they can find us?
Uh, well, as you can see below here, our names down here. Follow us on Twitter. Follow Con at CP3 underscore 7777777. It's only three sevens. I'm sorry. I just
It'll
I was
show up.
thinking I was thinking of Mike Epps talking about some 666. But you can follow me at underscore. I mean, damn it, opinionated underscore MJ. That's both of us on Twitter. So CP3 underscore 777, opinionated underscore MJ on Twitter. Oh, at EMW underscore pod. Follow us there. Shout out to the box score. How's that? The box score
At the box score
underscore
underscore pod.
pod. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the box score underscore pod. Um, yes, everything out of anything you do, everything you do. If you don't do anything else, like and subscribe, please. Just click. Oh, I don't. I'll save it to your playlist and watch it later. Whatever you do, but subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. We talk about all ball, and we're gonna get into even more than that. We're gonna start bleeding into just cultural things and things that we love and things that y'all love too. So be on the lookout for that. Um, and I think that's about it.
All right.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you can find the pod available on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Just look up East Meets West. If it doesn't show the beautiful basketball logo, just put in like a basketball state of mind because that's where we're coming from, and that's the full title: East Meets West, a basketball state of mind, and you will find the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, one of a kind, one of one.
All right. Thank you
We out.
all.
Yes, sir. Big Threezy.